to the Orange Beach City School System Board meeting, and at this time, Mr. Joe Blevins will lead us in the invocation.
You'll bow your heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the honor and privilege of serving you by serving the families of Orange Beach. Lord, we ask that every decision tonight will be with your wisdom and in your will. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order, and Mu Alpha Theta Mathematics Honor Society members, Mary Elizabeth Alford, Lily Law, and Shelton Conway, all seniors, will lead us in the pledge. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we could have a roll call, please.
Mr. McKinney?
Here.
Dr. Bauer?
Here.
Ms. Robinson?
Here.
Ms. Nix?
Here.
Mr. Stewart?
Okay, we have a quorum, and we have been mailed the agenda or posted. The agenda has been posted. The chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Robinson, second by Ms. Nix. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. The consideration of the previous minutes. The minutes have been posted. You have had an opportunity to review those for the regular meeting of April the 11th, 2024. The chair would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Nix, second by Dr. Bauer. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Recognition of guests. Mr. Blevins.
Thank you. We'd like to recognize our guests that are with us this evening. We're going to start off with Miss Misty Payne with the SPAC. Miss Payne. Miss Kathy Wilkes is with us this evening. Miss Neely Faulkner. Miss Jennifer Brownlee. Mallory Wilkes. I'm sorry, Miss Mallory Wilkins, excuse me. You're related now. Let's see. We have Miss Leanne Collins, Mr. William Zoke. We have Mr. Castillo, I'm sorry. And we have Shannon and Edie Gray with us this evening, and the rest are all family members. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blevins. Mr. Castillo, sir, would you come to the microphone and let's bring back with you Miss Mary Elizabeth Alford, Miss Lily Law, and Miss Shelton Conway. Representing Mu Alpha Theta, sir, we're very glad to have you tonight. We'll let you talk just a little bit, just that much. No, I'm kidding. But tell us a little about Mu Alpha Theta. Tell us a little bit about your role. Pretend that we don't know a whole lot about you, though we do. And remarkable job this year. Very proud of the accomplishments in the math department, sir.
Thank you. So my name is Drew Cashlow. I teach the upper level math courses.
Would you move the mic over? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't want to block her. So my name is Drew Cashlow. I teach the upper level math courses at the high school. That includes AP Calculus, AP Pre-Calculus, and then dual enrollment in traditional pre-calculus. Mu Alpha Theta is the national 2-year and high school mathematics honor society. So for our society, students have to maintain a 3.5 unweighted GPA in all of their math courses while being continuously enrolled in college preparatory math classes. And then this is our president, our vice president, and our our communications director, who I'm proud to say today, just a little while ago, found out that all 3 of them finished in the top 10% of the graduated class this year.
Congratulations. Let's let Ms. President come to the microphone, and we're not going to tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe about some future plans.
My name's Mary Elizabeth Alford. I'm a senior at Orange Beach, and I'll be attending Auburn next year, and I'm majoring in nursing, but I want to go on to be a nurse anesthetist.
Wow, fantastic. What was your favorite class this year?
Definitely AP Calculus with Castillo.
Had to say that.
Yes.
You're already done.
It's my favorite class ever.
So you're going into politics, is that right? Good answer.
Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And Miss Vice President?
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Lily Law, and I'm also a senior, and I'm also going to Auburn. We all three are, actually. I'm majoring in pre-dental and hopefully becoming an orthodontist.
Wow, fantastic. And your favorite class this year?
Calculus, too.
All
It
right.
actually is our favorite class. I look forward to it. Yes.
Is that right? Oh,
He's the best ever.
raises are not on the
You're
agenda
done.
tonight. And our communication specialist.
I'm Shelton Conway. I'm also a senior, and I will also be attending Auburn University in the fall. And I'm majoring in agricultural business with a minor in marketing. I don't know exactly what I want to do with that yet, but
You're headed that way.
yes.
And your favorite class?
Calculus.
Of course. There's a thing there. Guys, we're very proud of each one of you. Had a great awards program today, and just looking forward to following you throughout your lives to see what great things that you accomplish, okay? Mr. Castillo, sir, thank you so much for all that you do. Board members, this is your opportunity to ask students questions.
I just know that I saw these ladies a lot in tutoring on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and at the time, I don't know that calculus was their favorite class. Now that they're finished, it's their favorite class.
I just love the Auburn trend. I'm excited for you guys. I know you'll have a lot of fun on the plane, so War Eagle.
I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for being who you are, and War Eagle.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good. We have a small token of our appreciation tonight. If you don't mind, we'll see this, and let's go on the stage and we'll have a photo made, okay? You guys are in the middle. And it gets
Not really sure. I mean, you get to take our seats, like, our seats. Let me get next to him.
Let's see.
The reason we passed.
I'm gonna go to the other side. Even this out a little bit. Lily, let's get you right in the middle of the boat. There you go. Mr. Castro, come on that side. There you go. I'll stand in here. Everybody's buttoned up. And that is Ms. Cherney, yes, our new communication specialist. Welcome aboard. Students, congratulations. We're very proud of all that.
Time for public comments. I don't think we had anyone sign up.
No, sir, no one signed up.
At this time, I will turn it over to you for the announcements and the balance of the agenda.
I'd like to just mention several things that have happened this week that's not on the announcement page, but I do want to give some public recognition to. We had an outstanding Island Schools Special Olympics the other day. Yeah, I think that deserves a round of applause. Thank you all for being there, for that support. Ms. Burleson led the charge out there, but she had a great team, she said, around her. Amazing group of people. The students, above all else, were phenomenal. And I just think everything from the national anthem to the food that was eaten, that was prepared by the grill sergeants. We think that's pretty cool. Just did a phenomenal job. Great community event. And then we left there, did a little bit of work, and then we went out to the softball fields, and very dramatic fashion. In the seventh inning, tied 1-1. They put their Alabama pitcher in, and first pitch, We sent her over Centerfield Wall to win that 4-1 and to advance to the state playoffs this coming week. That deserves a round of applause. And then we were able to go to multiple band concerts, 3, I think, the other night. And I don't know if you saw pictures that were posted. I counted about 40 in the 6th grade band, and that's looking really strong. First ever jazz ensemble. They were remarkable. I told them in cabinet meeting, I want to be the director of a jazz band, because he just sits there and he kind of does his head a little bit, and then he does this little number every now and then, and it's just really cool. And the kids are, I mean, the saxophonists, were they 7th and 8th grade, the soloist? Yes. I believe that's correct. That was just phenomenal. So, love that. Concert band closed out with Robert Smith, the Troy guys that passed away last year. The Locomotive Chase, I think is what that was called. It's a really difficult piece with a lot of moving parts. They did just a phenomenal job. We've had awards day. I know Ms. Cherney thinks, my goodness, is it like this every week in the school system? Because we have just run from one thing to the next. Mr. Shaw, we've had awards day programs. I think, Ms. Law, you've got some things that are up and coming. I know I'm going to leave something or somebody out, but today's, I call it a graduate walk, because my little granddaughter was in kindergarten and got to walk today. That was phenomenal. That's turning out to be just a big community event. If you were there, I apologize for not seeing you, but it was just a really big turnout of parents and so forth. It reminds me a little bit of the regatta on past Saturday. Just so many people, hundreds of people there on Bear Point Beach, you know, and so our community does a great job of supporting our school, and I want to mention that tonight, along with all the employees. This Employee Appreciation Week. If you guys didn't get an umbrella, we can make that happen. I'm not sure that we got everybody umbrellas, but you'll be getting yours very soon. I seem to have forgot a very important group tonight as I look around. I don't see umbrellas, but they come complete with ribbons. Promise you, they're in the mail, okay? So, did I miss anything this week? I mean, it's just a lot of stuff going on. Now I'll go back to the agenda, okay? Yes, I did miss something, Miss Law. We took a little trip to Prattville on Monday, and we received a class School of Distinction Award there in Montgomery. I don't think the group really knew what all to expect from that. There were 4 schools out of all the schools in our district, Mobile, Baldwin County, that could have been there. And we were competing against other schools from District 1. There are 8 districts in the state of Alabama, so there were 32 of us there. And they recognized all of us for outstanding innovative programs. And of course, our STEAM program is really second to none. I did something that I said I would not do, is put something up here and not check the volume first and foremost. But let me just see how the volume is right quick. This is our video that we had to send in. Let's see what happens with this. Like I said, I should have checked the volume.
Aligned with our mission of fostering strong citizenship, students are expected to comprehend the dynamics of local resources, understand conservation methods, and recognize how these resources contribute to our local economy and community. Our initiative's primary goal is to teach our kids about the local community and to teach them about conservation and their impact on our community. By integrating STEAM with the life science objectives, the program provides a hands-on, environmentally focused learning experience.
How about a round of applause for OBES? Fantastic job. A lot of oohing and awing going on. Being able to replicate that, I'm sure, would be difficult for some various schools. So, great job to our people. Second underneath the announcements, we'd like to congratulate Miss Lisa Nix on her reappointment to this Board of Education for another wonderful 5 years. Miss Nix.
Congratulations.
And if you're trying to keep up with everything, we've got a rehearsal for graduation. Miss Courtney has sent to you some emails as to the expectations. You've got your robes tonight. Go ahead and hang those up so all the wrinkles will fall out, whatever needs to happen with that. And we'll do very similar to last year, except we will leave the stage area, go to the east side, and actually walk in, somewhat start the program, okay? And we'll try to do that 2 at a time. We'll attempt that. We'll see how that does. We won't actually lead the students, but they'll be directly behind us, the graduates will. So there won't be anybody on stages until we go to the front and then walk through, okay? Baccalaureate on the 14th. Now, we've got softball game on Monday, 10:45? Yes. Curry, okay? So I'll be out of town at that. We'll win the championship and be back for all the graduation activities, right? Kindergarten graduation, looking forward to that. It's in the Performing Arts Center, okay? Hey, let us know if you intend on attending any of those so we can reserve you a seat. We've got 6th grade graduation right in behind that at 10 o'clock. Again, all this is at the Performing Arts Center. With the exception of the big graduations, senior graduations at the event centers at 7. We've got some retirements. I think Ms. Courtney may have conveyed some of those retirements to you. What was it, Ms. Law, 11:30, 12:30, or do we back it up a little bit? No, this is for retirements. 11:30 and 12:30? You're going to eat first and then do it at the end. Okay, good. So we'll put some information out regarding that. Summer school all summer long through the month of June. We're going to nip everything, got to close it down so we can paint and get buildings ready for in the month of July, get them ready for August. And then you can see all the August dates there, September dates, Mako's on Main, all that's on there. And then you've got graduation next year on the 22nd. Any questions about any of the announcements tonight? Ms. McKinney, that's all I have.
Thank you. If we can, let's continue with the action items, and number 1 is personnel.
The superintendent recommends the approval of the following personnel recommendations. Mr. McKinney, I'll ask if there are any set-asides.
I see none.
Superintendent recommends the retirement of certified employees for the 23-24 school year, the resignation of certified employees for the 23-24 school year, the employment recommendations of certified employees 23-24, and the employment recommendations of certified employees for 24-25 school year. We have classified items here tonight, employment recommendations of classified employees for the 24-25 school year.
Thank you. You've seen those recommendations posted. The chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion for approval by Dr. Bauer, second by Ms. Robinson. Discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries.
Action item number 2, the superintendent recommends board approval of the attached revised budget. If we receive a first and a second, and during the comment section, I'd like for Mr. Matt Gray to come forward and present our budget amendment.
The board would, the chair would entertain a motion for the recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Robinson, second by Ms. Nix.
All right, Mr. Gray, if you'll come and present our budget amendment. This has to be the State Department by June the 15th. This is our second and last budget amendment for this fiscal year.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Always want to take the opportunity to come before y'all and just say thank you to be able to stand here and talk about financials for our school system tonight. There's been a lot of good things said where we've talked about strategic plan and the things that we do, and to know and to see how that impacts us financially and be able to communicate that is always an honor. I want to start by recognizing the effort that goes into a budget process. Our local school administrators, our central office, all have a huge part in creating and maintaining financial performance within our school system. So thank you to each of you and the work that you put in with your teams to make this happen. Before we start examining the adjustments too much, I really just want to talk about strategic plan. It's been talked about quite a bit today, but really the impact that strategic plan has on our financials, specifically part 4 of our strategic plan, which talks about our resources. And that part is broken into 2. So part A of that refers to resources invested to recruit, supervise, evaluate, and develop our staff members. So we're talking about payroll incentives, and professional development. So when we think about that, if you look at the expenditure line here, we're talking about instructional services and instructional support services. Okay, that's what's driving those lines. Part B of that, we talk about resources invested to maintain operational efficiency, and we're not just talking about facilities, we're referring to curriculum and educational resources that enhance our learners' abilities in the classroom. Okay, again, we're in those top 2 buckets of instruction and instruction support. From there, we move to equitably manage our budgets. And when we talk about an annual budget, I really think about day-to-day operations. Everything from operations and maintenance down to other expenditures, okay? And then the second part to that is capital plan, which talks about future expenses and how they impact us, which are also in that capital outlay line. So considering all this, the goal of this amendment, just like the goal of every budget we put before you, is to paint an accurate picture of what we value as a school system. That being said, we want to provide that safe environment for our teachers, for our students to provide and receive an excellent education and to do so in awesome facilities. So without further ado, we'll jump just straight into the B1. I won't spend too much time here because we're going to break this down in a little more detail, but just to highlight, general fund revenues projected to be $25 million with this amendment, $23.2 million in general fund expenditures. The other big change that you'll see as we go through is in the capital projects fund. Those revenues will go to $16.6 million with expenses of $16.9, bringing the total revenue across all funds, sir, to $43.8 million, expenditures $43 million, leaving a fund balance of about $800,000, okay? This is conservative. We'll talk about this as we move through the presentation and look at major revenues. Next slide, sir. Okay, here you'll see general fund, special revenue fund, and capital projects. FY24 budget being where we started in August to where we are today. All right, so general fund revenues of $21.3 million, amended revenues of $25. There you'll see the adjustments that we've put in place. So the K-12 state capital grant of $2.5 million, advancement in technology funds, which we've talked about a little bit, of $850 million, insurance proceeds from an old claim at OBES of $200,000, and career tech money, which is a grant for $200,000. The expenses there will go from $19.1 million to $23.2. A lot of this is associated to the revenue adjustments that you see, like the athletic facilities. We use that $2.5 million to offset some of that expense from reimbursement from the city. Advancement in technology, you see we have budgeted $550,000 for expenses. That's the work we believe we can get done over the summer and before the end of the fiscal year. Facility insurance is one of those where we kind of just learning. Insurance is just expensive down here, and it came in quite a bit more than what we anticipated. Also in that insurance is OBES Phase 1, cafetorium, and media center, which is now on our insurance. So both of those have been included. You see the career tech expense associated to the revenue, and of course, school security and teacher professional development there of $225,000 and $120,000. Special revenue fund, not a lot of changes in revenue there. Not going to highlight anything. Basically, that small adjustment is carryover from the prior year, which we need to spend this year. And then you'll see child nutrition program of an expense increase of $70,000. We're going to talk a little bit about that there. This isn't an increase. It's just a budget increase. We need a little bit more money to make sure we cover our expenses for the year, but it's not quite what it looks like. Capital Projects Fund, you see the big adjustments. We'll talk more about this. This is athletic facility. That project is just moving along, had a pretty quick rate. So next slide, sir.
If I could just iterate here that your revenue adjustments are basically grants, and the expenses are those grants being expended. So it's just money in, money out. It's not like we're spending much more than we had planned on spending, okay? We're just spending grant money.
Okay, general fund major revenues, you can see budget to where we're gonna amend, there are no changes. Now, with that, I'm saying we're being conservative because if you look at the second box, you look at where we are year to date versus where we expected to be. And ad valorem, we're up about $600,000, okay? We kind of anticipated coming into the year $300,000 or $400,000, so we're even a little bit ahead of where we thought we would be, which is good. Sales and use tax, similar story. Looking at county data, we are just trending slightly above last year through this part of the year. Really anticipate that to continue as we get into the summer months. Other local taxes, we can't look at that quite as a similar ratio of the other two, but just note those revenues are seasonal. There will be a lot of that come in from the June, July, August, September timeframe. Just the way that's being reimbursed to us, so.
The lodging.
Yes, sir. General fund expenses by function. I won't spend too much time here, but I do just want to note there's a big change between instruction and instruction support. This is simply a reclass of dollars from instruction support to instructional. Okay, so we're taking some payroll expense, trying to better align it with where we're actually performing. So when we look at these ratios and percentages, we can really know where we are better than where we are today. So not too much there. The additions, we've talked about most of them. That instructional classroom equipment is related to the Career Tech Grant. There is no impact to fund balance there. These are money in, money out. Instructional support services, that's the teacher development we talked about. Operations and maintenance, you can see the insurance and the school security. G&A, a little bit of money on software and consulting, and then other expenditures, we got $100,000 in pre-K. This is, again, related to revenue increase, no change to fund balance. Transportation, I just put this here for us to see, to remember. There's no adjustments to this budget. It's operated very well this year. You can see the fleet renewal funds. And we buy a bus about every 3 years, assuming the price of a bus doesn't change significantly in 3 years. But total operating budget there about $445,000. So. Talking about the special revenue funds a little bit. We talk about federal funds, special education, IDEA, Title 1, 2, and 4. No adjustments. Everything there is what we anticipated and is going well. So we requested the first half of those funds to be reimbursed. You'll see that next month in your financial review.
Most of that is salary and benefits.
Child nutrition, here's where we'll kind of discuss that $70,000 increase in expense. You can see we're not going to change revenues. We feel like we're in a good place there. Expenses going up that $70,000. Really, this is just, we were low on our budget, and I'll take responsibility for that. But the big note there is the $661,000 that we're anticipating is still about $20,000 less than last year. Okay, so there's been things that have happened in CMP that is lowering that expense. And here's where you'll see it when we talk about an interfund transfer of $163,000. Okay, so what happens is in source of funds 5101, which is CMP money, we get so much revenue and we have so much expense. But in that source of funds 5101, we have to cover all our expenses. So the general fund will in turn pay the special revenue fund the needed difference. All right, so that projected amount is 163,000. Last year, it was 236,000, okay? So that's a pretty big improvement, all right? That's done in a multiple of ways. We've got a little bit more revenue than we did last year. We've had increased participation across the schools. Kids are eating in the cafeterias, and we're using commodity goods from the federal government, which are free. But instead of getting a couple of oranges, you get an orange, and we have to cut it up, type thing. So overall,
It's in the weeds.
good
Or in
job.
the oranges or whatever. Yeah.
Any questions there? Capital projects flowing very good. Okay, changes here are all related to the athletic facility. You'll see the 16.6, and it seems like not quite enough funds to get us to the end of the year, but remember, there's $2.5 million in the general fund that also made payment to our contractors for this project. So that 16.61 million is actually 19.1 million in this year's expenses related to the athletic facility. So that's about $1.6 million a month. Recap, conservatively, within this amendment, we anticipate adding about half-month reserve, okay? But you've got to consider the favorability in ad valorem. You've got to consider the favorability in sales and use tax and the A&T funds. Those will all come back to getting us to the $1.8, $1.9 million on top of what we had last year to take us from the 2.25, 2.5 month reserve to 3.5. Okay? Without sacrificing anything at a school level need.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
You answered my questions.
Yeah, very thorough.
I have one. There was a bill to cap ad valorem tax increases.
At 7%.
Yes. Did that pass?
Unfortunately, yes, I do believe it did.
Did it pass? Was it this week?
So it was initially 3, they upped it to 7. What impact it will actually have on us, I don't know, but our ad valorem has grown significantly faster than 7%.
There's a study out there that says it'll affect a majority of city municipalities, city school systems. It's not a good, it's a good bill locally, if you're a taxpayer, and I am, okay? But it's not good for a school system such as ours. So we'll have to kind of eye that in the future. Is that a 25, 26 thing? It's not this year, of course. Yeah.
But we still get some of the increase. They just cap the amount of the increase.
What did you say in the last 2 years that we've seen here? Is it 20
Over a
something?
2-year period, I think it was 27%, but last year I want to say it was 18. I mean, it's been significant.
So you wouldn't get that 18 in the future, you'd get 7. Now, did they approve the sunset? Is this a 3-year deal? I think there was a sunset in it. Okay. I knew there were some changes this week. I hadn't followed it as closely.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all I have, sir.
Good stuff.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Since you're ready to vote, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Next item.
The superintendent recommends the board approval of the attached financial statements.
Those statements have been posted. You have had an opportunity to review those. The chair would entertain a motion for its approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Bauer, second by Ms. Nix. Discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. School board meeting dates.
Action item number 4, superintendent recommends board approval of the attached board meeting dates from June 2024 through May 2025.
You've seen those dates. You've had an opportunity to put them on your calendar. Hope you don't have any conflicts. Questions? The chair would entertain a motion for its approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Robinson, second by Dr. Bauer. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5.
The superintendent recommends board approval of the attached resolution. If we receive a first and a second, I would like to read that resolution aloud.
Chair would entertain a motion for its approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Robinson, second by Ms. Nix. Mr. Wilks.
Thank you, sir. Resolution 2024-01. Whereas the Orange Beach Board of Education vision statement reflects the pursuit and expectation of excellence on behalf of every student in every school, and whereas the Orange Beach Board of Education is desirous of providing a high-quality education to students who wish to attend Orange Beach City Schools and meet and maintain the qualifications as established by board policy, and whereas the enrollment of non-resident students in Orange Beach City Schools exceeds 178 students in grades kindergarten through 12. Whereas the Orange Beach Board of Education maintains board policies pertinent to non-resident students. Whereas the Orange Beach Board of Education is honored that non-resident parents have chosen Orange Beach City Schools as their kindergarten through grade 12 educational provider. Whereas the Orange Beach Board of Education recognizes non-resident students as valued members of the Mako family. And whereas the Orange Beach Board of Education is cognizant of the uncertainty of current enrollment process, and whereas the Orange Beach Board of Education aspires to create a more simple and seamless process that non-resident parents can trust and depend on year after year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Orange Beach Board of Education grants full enrollment of all current non-resident students for the duration of their K-12 educational career, provided that the conditions and students remain compliant with all policies specific to non-resident students, affirms that each non-resident student, after receiving full enrollment, shall not annually reapply for transfer, except the full enrollment of all siblings as defined by Alabama law of current and future enrolled non-resident students under the above-mentioned conditions. Be it further resolved that this resolution be placed among the official records of the Orange Beach Board of Education.
We have a first and a second. Discussion, comments.
Me. I know there'll be a lot of families that are grateful and putting students first, not having that anxiety year to year, reapplying. And that's a lot of stress on the student and a family, and many of which have been here 10, 11 years. I mean, these are our contributors. These are people who have been a part of our system from the beginning. So I appreciate this, and I know they do.
I think you nailed it when you talked about anxiety. I mean, this is the time of the year that they would be applying for that annual application for transfer, and that waiting game can be challenging. And my take on this is that they're MACOs, and them being MACOs means that they should not have to worry about that every year right here if they are high contributors. So I appreciate this resolution.
Lisa?
I agree with what they said. I agree. I think it takes the anxiety off the family, the students. Glad we're bringing this about.
Yeah, I think it's great. They're MACOs, they'll be MACOs, and they'll stay MACOs. So, congratulations. Thank you, Board.
Thank you. I'm going to vote.
Any more comments or concerns? We're ready to vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposition, the motion carries. Executive session,
There is none needed.
none needed. Election of board officers. This is a time that's required by our policy on this date every year to re-elect or elect board officers, president and vice president. The floor is now open for nominations.
I'd like to nominate Randy McKinney if he would accept.
Second. Do you accept?
So I'm going to get it 3-1 if I vote against. All right, I accept and I appreciate it. All right, we'll do an official vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And there is no opposition other than my wife. So, but she doesn't get a vote.
Nelson was the first and Shannon was second.
Yeah. Vice President, Floor is open for nominations.
I'd like to nominate Nelson Bauer.
Second. Any other nominations? Those in favor of Dr. Bowers, say aye. Aye. Those
Do you
opposed?
accept?
I guess I accept.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. All right, the motion carries. Thank you. Thanks for your service.
Can I add to that? I just want y'all to know what an incredible job these two guys do. Remember, this is not for pay. These guys work hard. They do a lot for the board, for the school system, and I'm honored to have them on our team.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you. Next item, next meeting.
We have a meeting on the 21st here in this room at 12 p.m. It's a special call meeting. The only item on the agenda will be that of personnel.
Okay. No further business. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Both motion by Dr. Bauer, second by, was that? Okay. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed may remain.